everyone, this is Archive12, and today we have a Supergirl wrap for the new movie that's coming out, like, if it's not out already, it's coming out very soon. From Daddyphatsnaps featuring Keetheweeb. Now, I am really excited for the new Supergirl movie. I am stoked because it looks like fun, it looks exciting, and it's got freaking Lobo in it, who is probably my second favorite DC character after Batman, just because Lobo is essentially the best way I oftentimes describe Lobo is DC's version of, when it comes to off the wall absurdity, it's DC's version of Deadpool. And that is probably a horribly inaccurate and very, like, how do you want to put it? A statement that essentially is oversimplified, I suppose. But that's for people who don't know who Lobo is, that's how I best describe it. He is an incredible character. So like this right here, 10,000 likes and we get a Lobo song. I am liking that right now preemptively. I am very much looking forward to Jason Momoa as Lobo. I'm looking forward to the entire Supergirl movie because I love the Superman movie. And I'm looking forward to DPS and Keetheweeb bringing us this song. I don't know what to expect, but considering how Supergirl is being portrayed in the new DC universe, I suspect that this is going to have it's not going to be the cutesy version of Supergirl that I think a lot of people are expecting or like it used to. Really, this is going to be one that's a little bit more depressed and self-destructive and rough around the edges and tomboyish, and I suspect DPS and Keetheweeb are about to capture that perfectly. At least, you know, based on what little we've seen with Kara being drunk on screen a couple of times. So like that right there is indication enough for me. Link will be in the description below if you want to watch this without my commentary. So we'll be pausing, we'll be talking about it. Without further ado, let's get started.
Yeah. I can't tell you what it really is. I can only tell you what it feels like. The pain welling up inside me, pulling both ways, but I still fight. And I gotta hold the weight of the world on my shoulders like it's still life. So I shoulder all the pain, feathers wither off the frame, but I still fly. Another circle around the world, but it's still time. Hurt, unfulfilled pride, burdened with the problems of the world, but can't steal mine. Feeling out of body, how to touch, is this real life? They don't understand my pain, or no real strife.
Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. This is the version of Kara who is weighed down with the fact that not only did she lose her planet, she kind of sort of lost it. Like she watched herself lose it. Kara, if I remember correctly, is several years older than Clark. So she was old enough to watch Krypton die. And that weighs on her, you know? She watched her entire civilization just get basically completely disintegrated. And I have this distinct feeling, because there's two versions of Supergirl out at the same time. You got My Adventures of Superman, where Kara, I haven't seen it, but I've heard synopsises about it, where like she was working with Brainiac, and that made her kind of like an edgelord at first. But now, from what I've seen from like the snippets of season 3, she's gonna become a cute little cinnamon roll, and I really adore that. But then you've got the live action version of Supergirl right now, who is definitely still going through it. And this is what DPS is talking about right here, where like she is depressed. She is struggling to try and find the hope that her cousin strives to be. She is trying to learn how to live with the trauma that she has seen and was inflicted with, and is not really sure what her place is. I think DPS even said it, like, she's getting pulled two different directions. She's getting pulled between hope and despair, and she doesn't really know which direction she's gonna fall yet. But all she wants to know, based on the way that he's crafted this thing, is that Kara just wants to fly. She wants to get above all of that. She wants to be a better person. She just doesn't know how, because she's struggling with the example that her cousin is set. This is all my interpretation since I haven't seen the movie yet. This is like based on what we know so far from the trailers and what little we've seen from the Superman movie. She's struggling to aspire to be the hope that her cousin is, while also burdened with the emotional problems that has come from the trauma. That's a very like complex series of character pieces that I feel like both Kee and DPS are managing to cover, especially from the fact that this is really the only time we've actually seen Supergirl as like a character and not a cameo for this new universe. So I think that they've managed to cover it pretty well overall based on what little we've seen. And maybe they managed to get an early screening of the movie, or maybe the movie came out a little earlier than I was thinking it did. And now we've just got, I'm just woefully behind. I don't know. I haven't looked at when it was supposed to release. I think it released, I want to say it just released like as of today, which is the 27th. I think it released yesterday. So maybe they went to the midnight showing, but like I feel like DPS would have had to been working on this for a couple weeks beforehand. This is not like an overnight thing based on the production value and the instrumental. So he's most of what's going on here probably is inferred from the trailers, like how I'm inferring a lot of stuff from the trailers. And I feel like both the song and my own like opinions are correct.
Nobody ever saved me, not a daydream. I just want to still time, hurt or fly. And up inside me.
I'm going to rewind it a little bit, just so that way we can get through the part that I was just talking about, and I can point out a few more things before we continue on.
Yeah. I can't tell you what it really is. I can only tell you what it feels like.
Yeah, see, that line right there, I can't tell you what it really is. I can only tell you what it feels like. And what that tells me is that, like, there's some complex emotions that Kara is dealing with, and she can't really put them into words, and all she can basically describe is like metaphors, essentially. Like, it feels like this. It feels like I'm losing everything. It feels like I've lost everything and I can't get it back. It feels like I don't know how to start over. Stuff like that.
The pain welling up inside me, pulling both ways, but I still fight.
That's where I was talking about before too, where like, she's dealing with the depression and anxiety, as well as the like trying to live up to her cousin and her cousin's role and role model. And trying to live up to the hope that he's inspiring, and feeling like she's failing, in addition to the despair of losing Krypton.
And I gotta hold the weight of the world on my shoulders like it's still life.
Yep.
So I shoulder all the pain, feathers wither off the frame, but I still fly. Another circle around the world, but it's still time. Hurt, unfulfilled pride. Burdened with the problems of the world, but can't steal mine. Feeling out of body, how to touch. Is this real life? They don't understand my pain or no real strife.
Yeah, and like I said, right there, that's talking about like the pressure that she's putting on herself and feeling like nobody else can truly understand what unimaginable pain she's going through. So I feel like that entire section, from the point where I last paused to this point, is really hammering in the fact that she feels like nobody understands, and she feels disconnected from everyone else. And that's probably the reason why she does things like drink and get into bar fights and whatnot, based on what we see in the trailer.
Nobody ever saved me, not a daydream. I just wanna break free, but I hate me. So if I hate me, how can I make peace? I just wanna wipe the slate clean. I told him. You ever see yourself as
And that right there is a perfect example of the fact that she doesn't want to live this way. That chorus is just perfectly describing, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to have these thoughts, or I don't want to have this mentality. I just want to fly. I want to be able to be happy and be myself and be able to live up to what everybody's expecting of me. I don't want to be this way.
you ever see yourself as someone else and it's hitting you, but you can tell them to do everything you didn't do, and you can tell them all those feelings that you hid in you and how it didn't help you when you killed the snakes that's biting you. Tell them how you living, how that venom is a prison, and how that vengeance didn't kill it, and tell them how you feeling, all the depths of your decisions, and how it haunts you when you visit. It's a ghost, you're the host, it possesses if you let it. Too busy counting all your debts, depositors, forget it. You're too busy thinking how you give them hell and miss the heavens. Then you lock them all away and you're the bitch you did the second. You don't get it till you get it. Now you
wow, okay,
hold
on. We're getting heavy this weekend. We've got Jax from Amazing Digital Circus and now Supergirl, like two different songs dropping some really heavy emotional vibes here. Holy crap. Fable and DPS kind of stole the show this weekend, didn't they?
Your debts, depositors, forget it. You're too busy thinking how you give them hell and miss the heavens. Then you lock them all away and you're the bitch you did the second. You don't get it till you get it. Now you looking in the mirror, see it clearer. And the further that you step away, coherence made appearance. It's the fear that's been the steering wheel. It's veering. Independence is the shield you use to isolate your presence. I know there's a lot of your plate, but listen, that collar is shame ridiculous. Top of the game, but
you know, and it's funny too, because like now, partway through, it now sounds like, at least from the perspective of the way the lyrics are written, it now sounds like it's less Kara singing, it's less Supergirl singing, and more Superman. Like the way that this like section that I just rewound sounds, it almost feels like Kara has expressed her grievances and now Superman's trying to like alleviate some of those, which is an interesting thing because there was like no real like shift. It just kind of smoothly like moved into that. It could also be Kara self-reflecting and learning, you know, how to let go of the pain that she's feeling. But it also could be like, you know, she's talking to her cousin and her cousin's giving her advice.
it's the fear that's been the steering wheel. It's veering. Independence is the shield you use to isolate your presence. I know there's a lot
right here where it starts. I know there's a lot on your plate. That sounds like someone is giving her advice or listening to what she's saying and trying to not necessarily make her feel better, but help put things into a perspective that allows her to compensate for the pressure she's putting on herself.
your plate, but listen, that collar is shame ridiculous. Top of the game, but missing that honest mistakes are living. Stop cosplaying the victim. That cosplay is a prison. Remember the one inside you, for God's sakes, deliver you.
That definitely sounds like it could be Superman telling her all of that stuff.
Lost faith is simple, that crossways significant. Crossways with resistance and blockade. The ignorance ain't nobody can stop you through dog days. You're vigilant. You got one, start living it. Living it.
Oh man. Oh, DPS with the backup vocals too. That is a powerful powerful message and a lot of like really potent like mental health descriptions. Like I said, like DPS and Fable both took the show today with the Jax and the Supergirl raps. I can't even begin to tell you how that makes me feel, because both of these songs, both the Jax one and this one, have a lot of emotional weight to them. They are heavy. They're dealing with things that everybody deals with, right? They're dealing with trauma. They're dealing with stress. They're dealing with self-imposed stress and self-imposed punishment. They're dealing with the feeling that they are losing grip on themselves and the things around them, that they can't live up to the expectations that other people have, and that they're losing themselves. The key difference between the two is that Jax didn't recover, and Fable did a really good job of emphasizing that, while Supergirl has a very, very, very clear path to recovery, and DPS highlighted that, especially in the last portion, right from the "I know you've got a lot on your plate" line all the way to the end. That was clearly not Supergirl singing or talking. That was clearly Kal-El. That was her cousin. That was Superman saying, "Look, I understand that there's more things going on in your mind than there should be, that one person should have to deal with. But you can't lose yourself to that. You can't allow that to dominate every aspect of your life, because there's so much life to live. And you're not going to be able to change yourself unless you change perspectives." And I feel like that's just something that like most people probably need to hear. And yeah, no, that was just a potent and powerful and incredible uh analysis, really, on how to deal with mental health between these two songs. I'm thoroughly impressed. Genuinely. That was incredible. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you for joining me. I am Mark Alpha 12, and I will see you in the next video.